Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dan Paternak. I'm the chair of the Aging Committee. I welcome everyone to our monthly committee meeting. I'm going to start out today with just a roll call of committee members to see who's here. So we'll just go right down the line. Karen Pesh, are you here, Karen? No, not yet. Sylvia Alexander?
Here.
Margaret Della?
Here.
Hi, Margaret. Lisa Dowd?
Here.
Rita Proctor-Lowe? And Margaret Donato?
Here.
Excellent. Hello, everyone. So just Rita right now and Karen. Okay, just get up here, make sure no one is looking to get in. Okay. Okay, so we have a fairly tight agenda today. We're going to start off with, and let me just get back to our agenda. Discussion of racial equity issues as they pertain to older adults in Bronx Community Board 8. So the purpose of this discussion is to figure out and discuss, or again, just kind of figure out if there's anything that we can do as committee members or any topics that we think or should be on the radar, so to speak, or something we should be working on in terms of racial equity for older adults. I know that Margaret Dell, a member of this committee, is also the chair of our Scree committee. And Margaret, you're on. Do you want to add anything? Do you want to frame the conversation in any different way? Did I kind of cover what it is that the committee should be discussing?
No, I think that's great. And, sort of the budget request hand in hand with that, that agenda item, I think is the goal of what we want to cover today.
Okay. Do you have any specific topics or issues within or that focus on older adults that you think should be raised, or anyone at this point, if you'd like to kind of open up, the floor is open right now.
The only thing that I would mention off of what I've seen is that we still have a lot of food insecurity issues in the community, and many of whom are older adults. And so perhaps, different sort of economic recovery packages haven't hit those adults, or we're sort of getting at food insecurity that existed prior to the pandemic. That seems to be one of the most consistent and compelling issues that I've been seeing in the community. And I know my colleagues at KHCC have also asked community members, apart from food, what else are you seeking? And a lot of their response was just a way to engage, sort of connective activities, ways to bring people out into the community, and ways, not necessarily that it has to be a big ordeal, but just ways that people can be coming together to do activities and sort of that socialization.
Okay. Do you have any specific, I know like obviously our providers, do quite a bit as well. Are there any specific functions that you've heard of or recommended to you to engage older adults in the community?
I mean, this is something we've worked with quite a bit, or, tried to work with RSS, sort of ways that we can be working together across the district to provide engagement. But I guess the most pressing thing that I've been trying to think about is like, what is the capital or the expense ask as it relates to food insecurity? I mean, that to me is, I guess, still my top priority, and something that continues to be of concern. As we saw through the pandemic, we were getting a lot of different food options coming through the city, the Department of Sanitation, et cetera, and like a lot of those things were good work and good efforts. And oftentimes they did result in good food, but also we saw a lot of food that was not healthy. Muffins, bagels, cookies, things like, fruits. So I think that DIFTA on some of those contracts for older adults has a better nutrition quality to it. But if folks really aren't able to access nutritious food, or they're leaning on the city of New York to help them, or the city of New York or food pantries to cover their nutritional needs, or just to have a consistent meal that they're receiving. So I don't know if we have colleagues from RAIN or other meal delivery services. And again, it's not a capital ask, but that's just been what I've been noodling.
Gotcha.
This is Julie from RSS. If, Margaret, I definitely agree the issues of food insecurity, and also for those of us that receive, DIFTA funds, as you may be aware, the emergency Get Food program is sunsetting, and those clients are being transitioned, and some of them are not known to DIFTA, and they're choosing not to get engaged with the DIFTA network. So I know we've been doing a lot of outreach to make sure that our clients, are connected to us. And I also think, in terms of, because that's going to be a huge number of people that are going to, again, fall through the crack, because the pandemic brought us a lot of people that weren't part of the DIFTA network. They didn't attend a senior center, et cetera. And I know the home delivered meals providers really have long waiting lists. So I don't really know what the answer is, but yes, I think food insecurity and creating a sustainable network of food pantries, particularly as, these clients that, aren't being transitioned to a senior center, they're really going to need support.
Really, just as an aside, do you know why some of the folks who are receiving food, now don't want to engage with the DIFTA network?
We're not a case management agency.
Yeah.
Because it's a case management agency, but some of them just said, no, I don't want to go to a center. No, I'll let my, my son go and grocery shop for me. But I was on a call with the commissioner, and I don't have the statistic in front of me. And then last Friday, there was City Council Committee on Aging hearing, and they were really asking the commissioner, what about this group of folks that are being transitioned off of what they called the emergency food and the legacy. The legacy DIFTA clients have come back, it's not a problem, but there's a significant number citywide that for whatever reason are not being engaged by the case management, or they're refusing services. So again, to Margaret's point, it's a way to, how do we develop, processes and activities that engage people where they are. They don't have to come to a senior center necessarily. Where else in the community can we engage them where they gather? Like what, RSS and KHCC hope to do is to collaborate more so that we go to where people are and bring them information and educational resources.
Gotcha. From a racial equity standpoint, anyone, if you can chime in, and again, is there anything we can do language services wise? Is there some sort of barrier of communication that we're hitting here? Is there something that we should be advocating for on the committee level to engage folks more, whether it's through budget requests or different processes? Is there anything that we can do for that? Oh, okay, so, there's Karen. I guess it's certainly the topic of something I like.
Well, I have a question. It's Julie again.
Yeah.
In terms of your budget ask, is your budget ask specifically for, program or project dollars, or do you get to, I think one of the issues that many providers, including us, face, we do have difficulty sometimes attracting bilingual people because of the salaries that we pay. The salaries are so low. I know in the mayor's preliminary budget, there's no cost of living adjustment, again, for human services workers. So I don't know if that falls into the purview of what you can ask for, but certainly to advocate and for increased wages for these human services workers.
Okay, I think that's a good idea. Okay. I think that's a great topic. And look, I think food insecurity is going to get worse as we see inflation increasing as well. And as we see kind of an economic shift, which I think most folks are kind of anticipating at this point. Point being, I think food insecurity is going to be something high on our list. I think as a committee, as a board, particularly for older adults, and making sure folks are getting nutritious food.
And of course, big problem. Oh, sorry, just a big
Yeah,
problem.
no, go for it, Lisa. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure. We've put a few things, for a few years in terms of housing subsidies, but that's huge for people of all ages, but older adults especially, as can't keep up with inflation.
No, look, I mean, in terms of housing, and I don't necessarily know if I'm not sure if our board has spoken about it yet, but what's happening in housing in New York City and in New York State is that the can has kind of been kicked down the road. And I don't think we've really, quite frankly, faced the music yet or the hard part of that crisis, because there are certain things happening which are just kind of delaying. And I think that's going to be a huge issue for the city in the coming year. And I think, for older adults, housing subsidies and not just subsidies, but I think what we're going to face is funding to help seniors stay within their homes, specifically for rent arrears and such that are going to be coming due.
I was also going to mention that the census report, the preliminary census numbers has indicated that Hispanics and Black populations are widely undercounted. And so that has to, certainly there's been a big jump in older populations reported from 2010 to 2020. But what might be the implications in New York City and New York State for those populations that might be undercounted, specifically older populations that we're working with? So I don't have enough information on it yet, obviously, but that might be something that, we want to think about more globally across the district, how the, various things that went on in the United States at that time might reduce services for older populations in our community.
I think that's an excellent topic.
Also, in terms of housing insecurity among seniors, I have a personal addition. I live with my grandmother, and she is a recipient of the Scree Benefit, which is for people who are 62 and over to stay in affordable housing by freezing their rent. And lately, she actually hasn't been able to get her Scree Benefit. We've contacted Scree and everything, and right now they're just doing some basically renewal for COVID. So people have to renew their application, and it's basically like a waiting period of 6 months, maybe more. So things like that, especially for seniors, especially Black seniors or people of color in the Bronx, is really, really important. So that's something you could also think about.
Yeah.
as well.
Did the agency say what the holdup was?
They said they were actually they were just going over all of the applications because it's in the system, and that it would be fine and they would contact us, but that didn't happen.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Okay, I know another topic which.
I'm sorry, I just had a question on the issue she just raised. Is that something that an elected official might be able to help expedite?
Yeah,
don't
so for Scree, it's a city benefit. So Sophia, what you could do, if you'd like, you can contact Councilman Dinowitz's office. So are you in the 11th or the 14th or?
I think I might be at the 7th, I think.
7th council district?
Um,
So you've got the council district, so we've got our 3 council members that cover our CB, our Councilman Dinowitz, we've got Councilwoman Sanchez, and we've got Councilman Oswald Felix. So those are the 3 council members that cover CB8. And if you're in CB8, it's going to be one of those 3 individuals that cover where you reside.
Okay.
So if you can, and there's an easy way to, find out, or if you want to like tell me offline where you live, I can tell you exactly who your council member is, or you could search it online. But you can contact your local council member's office and ask them to reach out to the agency
For sure, for sure.
to
And
see
thank
if they could advocate on your grandmother's behalf. I'm taking it down as a topic in general for something for us to, discuss. Obviously, housing security is something that is a big deal here in CB8. So we certainly have that, but please reach out to your particular council person and see if they can help advocate on your grandmother's behalf.
For sure. Just wanted to bring that up, just in case it would hit any other people in Community Board 8. I'm also working with My Bronx Impact, so I'm just meant to be a fly on the wall for today.
I'm sorry,
but
what was the other? I'm sorry, where else you're working with?
I'm working with My Bronx Impact.
My Bronx. Okay, I'm not familiar with them.
But
But are they helping advocate?
part of Children's Aid, and yeah, we help seniors and basically everyone in the Bronx find free and reduced cost resources like food, housing, clothing, all that type of stuff. So if you're interested, be sure to check out mybronximpact.org.
Okay, thank you, Sophia. Some of the other topics that I think, particularly hit older adults and that definitely have racial equity issues involved are transportation issues. I think we see that quite a bit in different ways, whether it's through low-cost transportation or transportation within different communities, and whether it's the way any particular neighborhood is set for parking restrictions, or whether it's a different bus service or train service or access issues for older adults. These are all things that I think do have a racial equity component to it. So I'd like to open up, any of those topics within the transportation sector, if there's something that you think we should bring out as a committee to the members.
It's Miriam. I
Yep.
remember when I was working at the Zeppelin Hospice residence in Riverdale in the Atria building. People were complaining that they could not visit their loved ones who were on our hospice service, but also who were hospitalized, that if they wanted to go every day and it's a round trip and that takes a big chunk out of their budget, we gave them cards, free cards that we subsidize. But it is an issue for people to go visit if their loved one is in a nursing home, for example, the back and forth, the cost, and also sometimes a bus stop or a subway stop is far and the facility is only reachable on foot. And that's not good for and convenient and doable for a lot of older seniors.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it just underscores the importance of helping with transportation, even for the well senior.
Yes.
I have also wondered about folks with long-term COVID in the Bronx, considering, just what our stats have been. And if people are aware of, I've seen it from, speaking on behalf or sort of as a part of KHCC, we've just had so many staff members who've had family members that they need to care for on a long-term basis, and whether people know about becoming a home health aide for someone in your family. So like if you're not able to go in and out of a job because your family member has a number of serious health issues, that instead of trying to find a health aide outside of the home, that you could become a health aide yourself, because you have doctor's appointments and you have all these sorts of things. it's been something that I've recommended to a number of folks over the last several months. And I don't know how many people know that that's a possibility, that you can be paid as a home health aide for someone in your family.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good, Margaret, and that's fairly new. My question is, that's for people who are on Medicaid, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but right.
Yes.
So Medicaid eligible can get that,
Right.
which is a terrific benefit. It really is.
Yep. Okay. Any other topics or any other areas that you think or any members think that we should touch on?
I just want to lay something out there for you guys. I heard a presentation from an agency. It's called Silver Bills. Are you familiar with what they do? They work in collaboration with VIPTA, and they help people pay their bills on a regular basis so that nobody falls behind. Sometimes they're hospitalized, or sometimes they're not 100% competent anymore. It is a free service. Your annual income for a single person, income, not asset, is $60,000 to qualify. You have to be 60 and over. And if you have, if you're married, it's $100,000 per couple. But it is a free service, and I thought it was an excellent support system that I wanted to share with the aging committee.
Yes, I know them. They do excellent work. Yes, Silver Bills. Yeah. They might be a future speaker for a meeting.
Yeah,
Dan.
that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
I've got their name down here. I think that's an excellent idea, and I'll see if I can get them in next month. Silver Bills. Is it?
Lisa Rosenblum is one of the coordinators at Silver Bills. I heard her speak, and I was very inspired and very impressed by
So
their
I'm gonna try to reach out to her. If you have her contact and can email it to me, that would be great. If not, I'll just look her up and try to find her, you know.
I don't have your email, Dan. So
Oh.
does it go to the community board, or?
That's fine, or I'll shoot you an email. I think I have your email somewhere
Okay.
in here. So either way.
Okay.
I
have an 800 number. Yeah,
Okay, great.
I'll send it to you.
So we've touched on a few topics. We've touched on, I guess, the home health aid, the medical aspect of it, you know, that is a whole different realm. I don't know if any folks want to discuss, you know, I guess the medical benefits or what's available, or if our committee should be, I guess, hitting the topic on medical benefits for older adults, with, quite frankly, any racial equity issues that we need to discuss or put out or advocate for as a committee. And again, you know, a lot of it'll, for older adults, we're talking Medicaid, Medicare. And if there's anything, any particular aspects, whether it's hospital care, you know, personal care, that any members want to bring out, you know, please feel free. Okay.
Actually, Dan,
Yep.
sort of a question. I mean, I was always, since I've been on this committee for a while, and
Mhm.
I always wanted, you know, the thought we best is to focus on older adults living in the community as opposed to nursing homes or other congregate settings. And I'm wondering if we should add a few meetings on nursing home care. I guess it's managed by the state, not the city, but I think there's just so much trouble in nursing homes now and not
Mhm.
getting better. I think
Yeah.
a lot to light with COVID, and we certainly have our share of nursing facilities in
Mhm.
our neighborhoods. And just putting it out there, I don't know what you, Dan, or other members feel about that. I think years back, we did have many participants in the program who were, administrators of nursing homes. And I don't know whether we should, I should backtrack on how I felt about it and rethink it. Should we add just some of it, still focusing on living in the community, but how do we think of the broader community? I don't know.
Gotcha. No, I think it's an excellent idea. And I certainly don't mind bringing in administrators from some of the organizations within our community to discuss what's going on or what's available, or even somebody from the state or city to discuss what's available out there.
And I'm thinking what we also might want to look at is bring someone in who's not necessarily affiliated with a particular institution, but how does the family determine, is it time for the person to be in an institutional setting?
Excellent idea.
Or what's the community care options if they stay in their home? Because that's a difficult decision, because some people, unfortunately, there is a point where they are best served in an institution. And other times, if they know the resources and know the questions to ask and plan, then maybe the person can stay at home with the proper support. So that might be also something to look at as part of that picture.
Yeah, and also evaluate the financial picture, what is covered, and do they accept Social Security being paid directly to them or not, and who does take veteran services payment, et cetera, because that makes, and also what are the differences between assisted living and independent living and rehab and all those different subgroups that are being offered in older adult settings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I know, Dan, you might be mentioning this also, but it's interesting. It's like, who is the audience for this? Is it older adults or is it us?
The sandwich generation.
Right. And
It's the family. Yeah.
and who's going
Family.
to, and just for the presentation itself, and we are, I guess Dan will mention that it's most likely that our next meeting will be in person, right?
Yeah.
Right, Dan?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yep.
we have to
The
think
law is
about,
expiring.
yeah.
So we get to see everybody again in person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the law expires this week.
That should be a session, hesitancy of a meeting in person again.
Yep. So, yep. Okay, no, I think that's an excellent topic. As well.
The last thing that I would add, just to someone's point that we should stay focused on local things or sort of like folks outside of congregate settings, is that talking about NORCs, I mean, we have a very much a population that is aging in place, whether intentionally or unintentionally, and how competitive funding is to provide health services or other sort of supports to keep folks aging in place until they can, if they need to move to a more supportive setting, or maybe they can't afford, and sort of all of the services that can come along with that, but that it's a very competitive process. Like I think everyone knows we have that one NORC in the district, but it's competitive funding, so it moved to a different site. And I think at the state level is sort of where organizations are trying to advocate for community members to get more funding and to say like, hey, people are doing their best and getting support, and so can't you fund sort of the structure around it so that more people can continue to do this safely?
Yep. Okay. Just on topic here, any other issues that any members would like to bring out in this discussion? Okay. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. I'm going to go back now and do something I should have done at the beginning of the meeting, is just kind of go around and just introduce everyone to themselves. So you guys have met some of the committee members who have said that they were here. We do have Karen did log on. Karen Pesh, are you there? She had logged on. I guess she logged off. Okay. So I guess we can just kind of go around the horn here. My name's Dan Paternak. I'm the chair of the Aging Committee. Sylvia Alexander, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Sylvia Alexander, and I'm on Community Board 8. I'm the chair of the Education Committee and also a member of Aging.
Okay. Lisa?
Hi, Lisa Daub, member of the committee, member of the board, and that's it. Thank you.
Margaret Della?
Hi, I'm Margaret Della. I'm on the Aging Committee, Housing Committee, and the chair of the Special Committee on Racial Equity.
And Margaret Donato?
Hi, I am on Community Board 8, and I'm on Aging and Public Safety. And that's my story.
Okay, welcome, Margaret. Julie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, Julie Dalton, RSS, Center for Ageless Living.
Excellent. Lee, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Lee Chung. I'm a community resident in Spuyten Duyvil, and I'm a community member of Housing, Land Use, and Aging, and hope to be a bona fide community board member soon.
Okay. Miriam?
Miriam Rabner, MJHS Hospice and Palliative Care. I live in Community Board 8, and I'm a cohort of the Aging group myself.
Okay. Sharon?
Hi, I'm Sharon Asherman. I'm the director of the Older Adult Center, the Riverdale Y.
Okay. Judy?
Hi, I'm on the Education Committee of Community Board 8, but I'm also on varying committees on RSS. So that's why I'm interested.
Thank you. Richard?
Yeah, so I am Richard Ovaya, and I'm the Community Outreach Manager at Cathay Senior Apartments. We're right next door in Kingsbridge.
Yep.
I actually went to the meetings pre-pandemic when
Okay.
Eric was still the chair, so it's a pleasure to meet you and everybody here, some familiar faces from
Excellent.
various events and things. So yeah, so just we do independent living for seniors.
Excellent. Welcome, Richard.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Sophia?
Hi, I'm Sophia Waters. I'm a program associate for My Bronx Impact, and I specialize in marketing and community engagement. It's great to be here with you guys today.
Oh, thanks for coming out, Sophia. And Caesar?
Howdy, my name is Cesar. I am the volunteer manager and the food pantry manager at Kingsbridge Heights Community Center. Pleasure to be here with y'all.
Great. Welcome, Caesar. Okay, so we're going to move on right now to the next part of our agenda, and that's going to be budget discussion, budget requests. So I'm going to just pull up and share the screen and go into last year's of what came out through the Aging Committee, just at least so everyone can kind of see where our starting point is. And then we can kind of go from there. Let me just pull up expense budget. Okay, so from our expense budget, last year we made it, the Aging Committee, up to number 4 of our expense budget lists with a request for older adult center funding, virtual in-person hybrid senior center models, which will need additional financial support for new programming and services, including training and staff. And for DIFTA technology upgrades to older adult centers and personal devices for older adults, including education for participants to use these devices to remotely access programs offered by the senior centers and thus facilitate aging in place. So on the expense budget, the Aging Committee had number 4. Also, we have number 13. Through DIFTA mental health services, the need for such services has significantly increased. Funding for geriatric community-based mental health services need to reflect this increase. I believe that was it for aging on the, oh no, I'm sorry, 2 more. DIFTA food programs, increased need for congregate food programs plus meals for individuals who are temporarily homebound. In addition, MTA Accessoride, increased service for Accessoride for older adults with disabilities within CD8 because of its particularly hilly topography. And those were the expense budget items that we have from last year. I'm going to stop this share momentarily. I'm going to get the capital budget request so that way everyone can kind of see what went out for capital last year. Stop share. Let's try that again. Okay, share. I don't know why expense keeps coming up, but it does. Okay, let's try that. Can you guys see capital request right now?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So I'm just kind of scouring through. I don't think there's any capital requests on here for aging from last year.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had capital
Any
expended.
capital, yeah. Okay, so that's where we start. And going through the list of the expense budgets, and I'll pull those up so that way, you know, we have that still. All right, share screen. Have now. Okay, I'll see if I can pull that back up again. Cancel. No. Okay, everyone should have the expense budget requests back up.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just start with, you know, what we had last year. And going through the list, does anybody feel that we should take any of those requests off or modify them in any manner? And I can go through them again if you'd like.
So I'd just like to acknowledge that the Department for the Aging sent out offered tablets to all, like, the older adults that needed them in
Okay.
in all our centers. They really did address the technology issue.
Okay. Do you think the technology issue still needs attention?
Can I jump in?
Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think we ever, and Julie and Sharon, you can confirm, I don't think the centers received additional funding for training
Right.
people.
No, we did not. Mm-mm.
Right.
They wanted us to take it out of our bottom line.
Right.
And they told us that you can allocate $160 a person or a class or something, but they didn't give any extra money for training. But they did get tablets to as many people as needed them.
Gotcha.
Yes, and they extended the free internet until October, because originally it was going to expire in June, but it's through October.
Okay. Gotcha.
So since this is the budget for 2023, definitely the funding should be there.
I'm sorry, say that one more time, Lisa.
I think the technology, but more on the funding, the soft cost. But as Sharon said, or as Julie just said, affording the ability to afford. The ability of people to afford connecting to the internet at home. Broadband is the same with youth. It's the same, maybe it's a racial equity issue also. It's an economic issue for sure. The free internet access is going to be going away. And so maybe for the 2023 budget, we need to sort of make note of that for internet access. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good point. So just also to clarify, what we're working on right now are FY24.
Oh, right, 2024.
We're going We're
Mhm.
just starting early, but we'll vote, in October of 22 for the 24 budget. So yeah.
Dan, can I ask a question?
Sure.
In terms, and maybe you don't have it with you, but in terms of this budget,
Mhm.
do you have the responses? I'd be interested to know what the OMB said about them.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull up well, actually, let me see if I have it here. Budget responses. No, I'm sorry. I'll try
It's okay.
I'll try to pull it up for the next time.
Mm-hmm.
And that way we have the responses from them.
Yeah, because we might just have to go to our elected officials for some of these things.
Yeah.
Many times they say that that's the way to go because they don't have any funds available.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. So I'll try to pull up the responses for next meeting as well.
Mhm.
I'd like to say something about item 13, so DIFTA Mental Health Services.
Yep.
So we have a geriatric community-based mental health clinic in our center. It just reopened in person. It just switched from virtual, at least to partially in person. But I heard that JASA was getting one also in the Van Cortlandt Senior Center. And then I heard that the funding was I think the funding may have been allocated and then taken away with the PEG, with the budget cuts.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that also.
So I'm not sure. We could certainly ask. For our purposes, for budget requests, I guess we're going to keep that line item in. I could certainly find out if they've been cut or not.
And can the mental health support services be delivered virtually?
They are being delivered virtually.
Will
also.
they continue? Can they be continued to be? That's another thing.
Right. That's a good point.
As part of your funding, is the city making a requirement that it change, that telehealth change? Have they made any inclination?
Oh,
Have you guys heard from any providers that they're making them change?
So we're actually not directly funded. We have a partnership with like the JASA mental health clinics. JASA got the contracts for the mental health clinics in the Bronx and is placing social workers at different senior centers. And they're doing it, so it's a DIFTA geriatric mental health contract at senior centers, where their main office is on Fordham Road, I believe. And I think that the funding is also, so like the funding's partially DIFTA and partially Medicare reimbursement. It's a combination of funding, and Medicare is reimbursing for virtual. The DIFTA piece, I don't know about. Like the DIFTA piece was for people who don't have insurance, or also to do like outreach at the senior centers and group activities and things that wouldn't necessarily be funded by Medicare.
Gotcha. Well, I think for our purposes, we want to keep the mental health services component in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the next slide, food programs, obviously that we discussed the importance of that this afternoon. Increased need for congregate food programs plus meals for individuals who are temporarily homebound. Do we want to modify that in any way? Do we want to add any language?
One of the things that we saw to be effective this last year, we at KHCC, we got funding through discretionary asks. That's a separate application for nonprofit organizations. But what they did, what I understood to be what the city of New York did, was that it awarded discretionary dollars to the food bank for New York City, and then it in turn awarded organizations like KHCC like X amount of dollars that we could use towards food procurement through our partnership with Food Bank. So I thought that was really effective because it allowed us to stretch our privately raised dollars so much further. We were able to bring in food that either Food Bank gave to us for free, or they just have a much better procurement system than we could, because obviously we're much smaller than the Food Bank for New York City. But
Yeah.
it just allowed for all of our Food Bank purchases to go so much further. So maybe the ask is, that's sort of like one thing to consider, to rather than individual, which the city of New York might just do what it did last year anyway, but award funding so that it can improve procurement through individual, the individual dispersed agencies.
Gotcha. Works. Okay. One of the next items that we have, MTA Accessoride, always an issue. Increased service for Accessoride for older adults with disabilities within CD8 because of its hilly topography. I still to this day continue to hear about Accessoride issues, mostly the timing and process. But again, it's always, something to keep up and keep in the eyes of the city.
Thanks, Lee, I'll take up.
So any other items that you think should be brought out through our budget requests? And this, again, this isn't going to be the final time to do it. These are just preliminary discussions still. We will vote on these items, I believe, in October as a board, which means on the night of October, if we wanted to bring up a request that evening, we could. And the board would vote on it. Yes, no, maybe. But for now, it's just like having these conversations and bringing them out, and then getting something for board members to look at, through the summer and into the fall before we do start looking to vote on them. So I guess we can end there for budget discussion. I'll now go to our providers. If you guys have any updates that you'd like to provide, any issues that you think we should know about, the community should know about, then we can just go through the different providers. Julie, do you want to start? And then, I'll go to Mary.
Sure. Because of Omicron, we had stopped Congregate lunch, but we're returning to Congregate lunch this week. So we're very happy about that. We are still at 25% capacity. Other good news is that our Social Model Adult Day will return to in-person activities on April 4th. So we're very excited about that. Again, very limited capacity, but we're glad because of our caregivers. They've really been anxious to have their loved ones come back to our program. Some unfortunate news, our transportation program is on hold because both of our vehicles were vandalized and the cat converters were stolen. That's happening all over the city. So that was a big upset. But we are insured, but that was it really causes such a monkey wrench in everything we're trying to do. Our geriatric mental health program through DOH-MH is really going strong. Like last year, we're just about completed all of our deliverables for the entire year because there's so many older adults we're seeing with depression and other issues. We have one of the great programs that we're doing virtually is a plant-based eating Kickstart program. We work with Metro New York. It's been very, very popular. And we've also opened up a new section on our website called the RSS Wellness Corner. So again, it has lots of information about healthy eating, exercise, resources, and a lot of our, nutrition education and health management programs. A quick note, if I may, we're looking for a community nurse. It's 2 days a week. Our other nurse doesn't want extra hours. So we're looking for a bilingual Spanish-English community nurse. And then we're also looking for a kitchen worker for our kitchen and our dining room. So can I send that information to you, Dan? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, please send it in.
Yeah, thanks.
Excellent. Thank you, Julie. Miriam?
we have been offering education to community and professionals in healthcare about the importance of advanced directives, having the tough but important conversation with yourself, but also with your loved ones, selecting and agreeing on a surrogate healthcare decision maker for the time when we can no longer talk for ourselves. And that's been very well received. And we offer it both in Spanish, not just both in Spanish and English, we offer it in Chinese, English, and Spanish in different sessions.
Excellent. Thank you, Miriam. Sharon, do you have any updates for the community?
Yeah, sure. Hi. So we're open for lunch. We're still delivering to 40 homebound people in the most needy in the community. And we're still continuing with grab and go pickup. We have on-site programming. We are planning, we got a grant, and it's kind of a weird year to do this, but it may help reinvigorate our center and just people's lives. We got a grant to do a Broadway musical with older adults, and we're going to have rehearsals and the show outside on our back deck. So rehearsals, so the cast is, the show, we're actually trying to finalize what show it's going to be, and then the cast is going to be selected, and they'll have a rehearsal schedule, and in June on the back deck we'll have some Broadway style performances. So we're really excited about that, and we're glad that we have the outdoor space to do this in.
Right.
Let's see, we've been having monthly food pantry distributions. Met Council has been bringing a mobile van to us, and we've been giving out food to about 100 needy older adults once a month. We're still, obviously, we're operating the NORC, and they're so slowly integrating into our agency. It's been great to have, to have more of a robust social work presence where, where their staffing is, they went from one director and an office manager, now they're almost fully staffed, which is great. And the only area the area we're having the most issues with is actually transportation. We've been fortunate that unlike many of the centers, our vans are not broken into. That's a citywide issue, actually. I feel bad for you, Julie. I heard on the other meeting that all these centers were everybody's vans were being vandalized. So we have the vans, but we can't get drivers. And it's been going on endlessly. It's just a real problem. In order to drive one of those vans, you need a Class B CDL, and these drivers are nowhere to be found. We raised the pay rate. We're reluctant to raise it beyond our budget. But we're really at a loss as to what to do. We have people to drive, but we don't have, and we have the vehicles, but we don't have the drivers.
Great, understood. So hopefully, hopefully you can get the drivers.
Yeah, it's a citywide issue also with drivers and pay scales, and and throughout the agency, there's been problems with hiring people. I mean, we have trouble getting lifeguards and fitness instructors, and that's all gotten a little bit better. But the drivers with Class B CDL license, they're nowhere to be found.
And a clean driving record.
And a clean driving record, right? Yes.
That's important. Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you guys for the updates. I do appreciate it. We're going to move on. I guess new business. Does anybody have any items of new business?
Kids Bay, Milo loan pickup. Kids
Okay.
Bay, Camille pickup.
So I'm going to just kind of go through the minutes briefly from last month so that we can get them out there. I was delayed. Let me see if I can pull them up through here so that way we can just briefly do them. CDA. Okay. Okay. So these are from February 14th. Just basically the announcement of the committee members and guests. I just put in that Lisa took the roll call. I was still in my car at that point from coming back from work. And then briefly, Brianna Payton Williams of Live on New York presented Reframing Aging in New York City. The Live on New York and Reframing Agenda Initiative have collaborated to make a long-term social change endeavor designed to improve the public's understanding of what aging means, how older people are valuable to our society to ultimately counter ageism and advance policies and programs that support all New Yorkers as we age. The Reframing Aging Initiative uses an evidence-based communication strategy as the core to create collective change in public discourse, policy, and practices. A central theme of the initiative is that words matter. The presentation and one-page document are attached, which are on the minutes as well. I also included in here that Lisa and Margaret inquired about racial equity issues that could arise within the initiative. Ms. Williams stated that Margaret could contact her offline for more information on different ways to connect with a diverse audience. She also provided that one pager, which is attached here as well. I've got the updates from our providers from last month. So if you guys want to just take the providers, if you want to just take a quick read on your paragraph, and if there's anything that I should add or take off.
It's okay.
Okay.
Just a typo, if that matters.
Yep. Nope. If which
On the third one, yeah, grab and go.
Oh,
Just a typo.
oh yeah. Okay, I see that. Yep, I will fix that.
Oh, ramping up instead of amping up, yeah. Or is it amping up?
No, it should be ramping.
Okay.
Or yeah. I've got the minutes that we had approved.
Grab and go.
The grab and go. And then I've got new business. Lee Chong of RSS stated DOT approved the traffic light. I'd like to see the light installed sooner rather than later. And then we just discussed the original preliminary budget, and that's all for our minutes. So are there any changes, additions, modifications, anything else anyone would like to see in these minutes other than my typos? Okay, so I'll go to committee members. Or do any committee members, do you wish to vote no against these or no for these minutes? Does anybody like to abstain from the minutes? Okay, so I guess we'll unanimously approve the minutes for February 14th. And on that note, are there any other items that folks would like to discuss at all for this meeting? Okay, and then enjoy the rest of your month of March. We will see everyone in person next month, which I'm kind of excited for. So welcome. I'm not sure what the location will be yet. I'm waiting to hear from the board office on that to see what locations are available. So as soon as I have word, I will certainly let everybody know. And I do appreciate the recommendations on the speakers. I'm going to reach out to both of those this week if possible. And Miriam, I'm going to shoot you an email with my contact info.
Very good.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Everybody. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.